But some people like, man, like they looked at him as like, man, you ungrateful. Like you don't know what somebody would do for that 18K. You know what I'm saying? They looked at him like he didn't know the value of money.
So he got the.
So in a way, he got canceled for saying that he didn't want to accept the 18K, but give it to somebody else on his team.
So he got canceled for trying to
share and give somebody else the platform.
That's
pretty
crazy.
Much. And it's like it's different forms of counsel, but like that one was shocking to me because I didn't even know people could get.
Yeah. So we back with episode 2.
Just to reiterate, this is Amerikaz Confidential.
Confidential. AMERIKAZ Confidential. You know, follow us on the socials. First episode, that was fun. That was the introduction, but you know, we here to pour it all into y'all.
Honestly, like I want to definitely start off by saying like I appreciate y'all for like all the support, everything, like y'all messages, everything y'all sent to us is really beneficial to us. Like to hear it back, the feedback.
For sure.
So we're gonna definitely gonna keep pushing out content. I think we got a really good segment for y'all today.
I want to give y'all the overview. So today we're talking about self-love, of course, not selling yourself short, diversity of thought, and then of course the big one, analyzing cancel culture.
That's like the gist of what we're gonna definitely be talking about today. And I don't know if y'all recently got that tweet that I posted on the story on the IG. But I did like a poll for everybody to like vote and see what they felt like was the reason that a lot of people don't really like achieve their goals, achieve what they have in mind for like themselves and stuff like that. So a lot of people, they voted that self-doubt was one of the top reasons that people don't kind of push through and achieve what they feel is the next step in they business decisions or life decisions, that kind of thing. So
reaching their full potential, or reaching their full purpose. You know, God put us all here for a purpose, and then when He sees that, you know, we have this self-doubt, which I mean, there is stuff that factors into that, but you know, it all just coincides with your mind. First, your mindset, and then like you know, people you surround yourself with. So it's not something that cannot be fixed.
One of the other things that they could have selected from was mentorship or like financial resources that you know like was a reason that they feel like people couldn't really like achieve what they wanted to do. So both of those I feel like play a really big factor as well. But I feel like self-doubt definitely like falls under both of those.
For sure. Well, you know, speaking on that, I guess I'll start with myself. Talking on the first topic, selling yourself short. What do I want to start with? Just, I guess my first job, going into that, I guess I had to. You gotta jump into corporate in order to you know get the feel for it. So my first job, you know, at Marco's Pizza, you just trying to get a little cash, get a little paycheck, you know, buy some shoes or whatever. But you know, going in first year it was cool. I was kind of naive to stuff, but after a while, you know, I kind of exposed. I did some like further reading, and picked up the interest of like kind of wanting to work for myself. You know, work for myself, be an entrepreneur. I picked up that gig, and so I realized that you know working for somebody that really wasn't my. I knew what it was like in the beginning. Okay, I kind of got to learn. You can go into the work environment and you know use it as something to help you as like you know to build you like going to you know learn skill sets for if you're trying to be if that's like something that you want to do long-term entrepreneur goal or whatever. And I knew that was me. And plus you know I would I would branch out because you know first you got to find out you know is this really something I want to do. I figured that okay working for myself is something I want to do, entrepreneur long-term goal. So you know I started talking to folks, my mom of course who works for herself, you know just reaching out, doing my own further research, and you know I figured you know I don't want to be a slave my whole life, you know working under somebody. I want to you know set the tone for myself. set the tone. That way I can, be that spark for generational wealth essentially.
Yeah.
In the long run for longevity. So,
Yeah, so you sound like pretty much from the time that you started, it was Mark, you said Marco's Pizza?
Marco's Pizza, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I work other jobs too. I didn't.
Yeah. But like the time that you started there, you kind of realized like I don't really want to be working for somebody else.
Right. Like it would be times I would talk to my boss. I was like, do you want more for yourself? Cause like she was real smart, and I was just like I could see her doing something more, but she was just kind of like stuck in her ways. Like
yeah. I mean, honestly, that'd be all people know sometimes.
Yeah,
they don't
that's
really,
true.
They don't really know the other avenues,
That's
other
true.
routes. So yeah, and there's a lot of reasons for that.
No doubt.
Definitely get into that. So.
No doubt.
I guess like a story that I can bring up right now. I kind of sell myself short and like and finding like an internship. Honestly, like I didn't really think that I would even find one so soon. Honestly, just because of like me switching my major so late, and then also too my experience. Like I didn't really have that much technical experience for me to really dive into like an internship like I thought I really wanted. But actually, like the people that I intern with now, they only pick me because of my like personable skills. So like the way I communicate, how I am around the office, and things that I am knowledgeable of that wasn't as technical. So like I definitely sell myself short going into it, but like I realized like you can have more or not even more, but just like you can have different avenues of like this is who I am, and like showing your own self, be personable is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so like I feel like that's something that people have to realize is like you don't always have to know it all.
That's something that a lot of people kind of get caught up in, like having to know it all right now. Like, for instance, me and Rob, we in college, but we were 21, about to be 22. I mean,
that's coming up.
And it's like it's crazy because like we put in America, right? Okay, you set up in this system. Okay, work, or go to school. Get a job. But like with that learn, so where like the learn notion that's put like kind of instilled into you, you're set aside from really. I guess you can be set aside from what you're set to be. It can hold you back from essentially, what you really like God's purpose. It'll set you aside from God's purpose.
Yeah.
In my opinion, without like thinking on your own, I just think it comes with taking the action to want to think better or think more for yourself.
Yeah, that's
so. That's one thing.
Like not having that mindset, bro. It's like it kind of like puts you in a place of like, oh, I can achieve all because I know that I do serve a higher power. I don't know what everybody believes in, but I do serve a higher power, and He's gonna guide me through this. So I feel like having that confidence in yourself and just knowing, like it kind of puts you into like it kind of puts you in a position to like prove yourself wrong.
For sure.
So I definitely agree on that one. One quote that I have kind of been telling myself and reiterating to myself is like, this life is like a journey in itself, and that's the reward. That's the reward that we get. It's a journey. So like, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how difficult it look, like the experiences that we have is
embrace
like,
it.
Yeah, you gotta embrace it. That's what we gotta like dive into and like learn from, because that's how we grow and that's how we get the life experience. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So.
And going off that, wherever you at right now, that's not going to determine where you will be for the rest of your life. Like if somebody because it's easy to get caught up in something of this world, and then easily influenced by friends around you that may say, okay, bro, like what's next, like. Okay, you're not making money. I mean, you'll get caught into like, okay, what they have for you, when essentially that's not, that's really not what you're supposed to be following. You're supposed to be in alignment with yourself and your purpose.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we'll get sidetracked by what our friends are thinking, what our parents are thinking back home.
Yeah.
So.
But it's your life.
It's your life.
you make your own journey.
Right.
So.
You make your own reality. Wanting to expose yourself to more, taking that initiative to want to branch out, want to, be essentially abundant.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing that we want to kind of let you guys know about, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys do know already, but what imposter syndrome is. So that's the condition of feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally. I kind of spoke with this a little bit with Jay Ford earlier, but pretty much imposter syndrome to me is like, so saying you have a successful thing that you just achieved, but you so in your head about the past that you can't look forward, you can't see what's right in front of your eyes. It's like, I just achieved this, I just did this for myself.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, they have that mindset and they're not able to like get to the next steps.
Yeah,
and it limits them, yeah, and it just holds them back from what is to come. Yeah. Like you may be in the next step of your blessing. You may not know that, but if you just continue to push forward and try instead of being in that mindset, like I feel like it's a lot that can come from that, honestly. So
I think it all ties back to like what you allow to consume you. Like for instance, an environment. It was at one point in time, getting in college. Just the environment I kept around me, like it was okay, cool. Yeah, it was cool to go out time to time, but after a while, like you kind of want more for yourself. Well, you're speaking on somebody that's worked on self care, self love. After a while, you doing the same stuff. It's not really, you feel like that's not really fulfilling no more.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
taking that initiative to say, okay, I probably need to reiterate or reevaluate who I'm hanging around, and if these guys aren't on the same type of frequency that I'm on, then maybe I should dip out. But essentially, that's how, looking at the successful people, that's how they do it. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice to pay the price to sacrifice, and live at it. That's why the big ones come out on top. So
that's true. Sometimes you have to have like that analysis of like, okay, well, this is where I am in life, and these are like the pros and cons of like what's happening right now. So
for sure.
I can relate on that and kind of like bring my own personal experience of that. Is like me going into my sophomore year, I felt disconnected. I didn't feel like going out. I didn't feel like he was saying, I didn't feel like doing all those other things that other people my age wanted to do. So I tend to find myself inside a lot more. Like sometimes I wasn't doing what I should have been doing, you know what I'm saying? So I had to find the right things to do.
Right.
So I got into books. I got into my own craft of like technology. I figured out what actually I wanted to pursue as far as my job and stuff. So just me having that time to like sit down and analyze like what I really wanted instead of following what the mass majority of people were doing. Like that's what stepped me apart from the rest. So
for sure, I like that. And what he's saying, what's important in that testimony, he said, being alone. Like a lot of people don't cherish being alone. And we talking on these subjects of self-love, bro. In order to find yourself, you have to cherish being alone. Whether that's like, saying, okay, let me take some time out to actually reevaluate, soul search. I don't necessarily have to go to this party, or I don't have to necessarily be at whatever function is going on, whatever concert or whatever have you. Take time to look into yourself, and then like once you find it, cause I ain't gonna lie, it take time.
It takes time.
Cause like we still young, so
and we still find it.
We still young, we still make mistakes, but like I said, we not perfect. We still young, doing whatever, some young stuff, but at the same time, we wanna add value and have balance.
Exactly.
So,
and honestly, when you are unbalanced, you are you don't have a clear vision.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. So It's like you wouldn't even be able to know what the right next steps are, and that kind of thing. So that's what we kind of like trying to iterate to y'all. It's like, just make sure y'all take time to actually know yourself before you step out and you try to be something that you're not.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Because like we were saying, there's a lot of pressures in this world, whether it be at home, family, pressuring you, okay, you need a good job, like this is America, like what you gonna do? Like everybody looking like what you gonna do? So it's like, yeah, I mean, stuff does get real, essentially.
The pressure of life.
Pressure of life does get real. I mean, we all going through it. Everybody has their own riddle that they're going through. Nobody just, believe it or not, no matter what somebody got on, celebrities, whatever they got on, or the average Joe, he still got to go through this thing called life. It's still trial and tribulation.
I got a few helpful tips for people that do deal with like this kind of imposter syndrome. One thing I did already tell you guys is like individualize yourself. Like, you weren't created to be like everybody else. You are a unique person. You are different. Embrace that. That's what's gonna actually put you in. It's gonna set you apart. It's gonna put you in the positions that other people won't be in because you are more personable. Like I said. Another thing I got on here is 9 times out of 10, you are not the only person that is anxious. 9 times out of 10, you're not the only person that deals with these thoughts of not being able to achieve things or just anxious about life in general. Express those things. Make it known to other people that you have these feelings, and like you'll find 9 times out of 10 that they are also dealing with these things, and y'all can relate on that. Y'all can also benefit from communicating that.
No doubt.
And then the last thing I got right here is take a deep breath and have fun. I think it's important to realize that God didn't put us on this earth to just work all the time. One thing that he iterates in his Bible, he definitely wants us to enjoy our life here, but also do it in the right way, but enjoy our time here. So let's not get confused that we're supposed to always be working.
One thing that we all tend to get caught up on, especially like Gen Z, especially the ones going through school, trying to find that career or whatever, we all get caught up on the future. So caught up in the future, we forget to live in the now, appreciate things, appreciate just living, because I mean life is real precious, and so when you wake up every day, me personally, I wake up every day. I thank God for this opportunity to express myself, talk, get dressed, dress how I want to dress. Thank God for just breathing, just being here in the moment.
Life in itself, like it's just we have a lot to be thankful for.
For sure. And like you say, none of y'all are going through this alone. Like we are all going through life, this game of life. Nobody's out here perfect. Speaking on that social media aspect, like that's really a fantasy world if you want to get technical. Nobody's out here just has it all figured out and just boom boom. So that's a little take on that.
What they call it, the highlight reel.
Yeah. I mean, if you see these perfect couples, probably. I mean, they probably took some takes on the pictures or videos.
Oh yeah, you ain't gonna get it right the first time.
Right. Or like,
that's
what they show you is not all that is going on.
Exactly.
So just take that type of stuff with a grain of salt. All these flashy cars is cool, but it's like, what's on the inside? Who are you on the inside?
Yeah.
What are you really here for?
Yeah. And that falls back into self-confidence and knowing yourself.
For sure, knowing yourself. You gotta know yourself first.
Yeah, like you said, we're gonna speak on cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
And I think that's a really big topic that we need to address in our community. I feel like one thing that people struggle with is the fear of being canceled, and that can also lead to like self-doubt and telling yourself like, oh, it's not the right time.
Right.
I'm gonna get canceled. Or I can't express this. I'm gonna get canceled. And yeah, maybe some things aren't the right thing to express, but how are you to know that if you don't express it?
Right.
So we wanna emphasize a few things on how to deal with people before they get canceled. So that's like how we wanna go about this next segment, is just kind of tell you guys like what's the right way to deal with people that do think different from you.
For sure.
And
More adequate way of going about the situation.
Which ultimately will create those communities that we want to establish for you guys. So we do want to kind of give y'all a definition of what cancel culture is. So it was created in the early 2020s, and it's a mass withdrawal of support from public figures or celebrities who have done things that aren't socially accepted.
Sure.
And that's just simply what it is. So it says around 77% of 18 to 29-year-olds, they either use this or they have heard of it. And we are the generation that I feel like uses it more than anybody else.
Most definitely. With all this emerging technology, all this emerging artificial intelligence, it's big. It's definitely prevalent in our time.
That's true.
It's definitely something we got to take into consideration when we're dealing with different types of people with different types of beliefs, different types of people, different type of sexualities, whatever, whatever have you. So
I was gonna say, like, should we talk about any recent events that somebody has been canceled, or that's too much for the podcast, you think?
We can dive in, just depend on whatever topic you got.
Oh yeah, so like this one not too bad. So I sent Jalen this like a few minutes ago. But like this guy, he pretty much got offered a job for $18K.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, my minimum is 30K. Like, I can't accept that, but we're gonna pass this along to somebody else on our team at a lower position. And other people was like, oh, this is like a blessing. Like, this man made it up to this status, and he's able to do this, do that, and pass it on to his other people that's in his company. But some people like, man, like, they looked at him as like, man, you ungrateful. Like, you don't know what somebody would do for that 18K. You know what I'm saying? They looked at him like he didn't know the value of money. So in a way, he got canceled for saying that he didn't want to accept the 18K, but give it to somebody else on his team.
So he got canceled for trying to
share and give somebody else the platform.
That's
pretty
crazy.
Much. And it's like it's different forms of cancel, but like that one was shocking to me because I didn't even know people could get. Yeah, I didn't know people would get canceled for trying to put somebody else on, and
bro.
But one thing he did emphasize was like, y'all don't understand. Like, I don't value money, but I value my family, my time. You know what I'm saying? So he was like,
that's real.
He was telling people like, the reason I said no was because I want to spend my time with my family, and this is a better opportunity for somebody because I know their situation. So one thing I wanted to tell you guys is like, we got to understand is like, people have their own experiences. They have their own issues. So we don't know why people say what they say and do what they do. So let's be mindful of like why we cancel people and how we cancel people. So before we kind of just speak and comment on under somebody's post and like why you said that, So
yeah, taking that into account, the world has. Now this might get a little controversial, but the world has essentially gotten away from the righteous path, gotten away from God, and so when you have this cancel culture thing, it's like an agenda to kind of keep you away from speaking truth. And so when you look at that, you get on these platforms such as this one, having to kind of beat around the bush in a way, going back on what he was talking about, Buddy sharing that amount of what is it?
He got like 18K.
18K.
Well, it was like a job offer for 18K.
A job offer for 18K, and saying offering it to a coworker.
Coworker, yeah.
Because he saw that was very unselfish. I mean, I don't see a problem wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, then again, we live in this culture where things have been valued
wrongly,
definitely, or inadequately. So
yeah.
We know our past. You just got to kind of work with what you dealt with, and so
I feel like people that are doing these things, they are expressing how they feel on social media platforms. I feel like one thing we have to do is take a step back and put ourselves in their shoes.
For sure.
Because like I said, you don't really know what they're going through or what their life situation is.
That's true.
So like honestly, even like we don't gotta go dive into it, but even with like what's that, the baby, some other people that got canceled, man. It's a lot going on in celebrities' lives, but not to even dive into that, but like to really talk about like what people actually have gone through in their lives, like trauma.
Right.
They've dealt with.
Right.
They friends that either talk like this, be like this, and they don't really know what's right. And like you were saying, people are getting away from the righteous path.
We're all different individuals. We're all going through our own life experiences. We all think differently, but what makes us so special is the different perspectives to come together, and building these such platforms. The reason me and Rod made this is because we think alike, but we also have different perspectives on different things, which makes it big for such a thing like this to come together.
Yeah. It's crazy because we are very individually like different in a way, but we are similar. Because like when we was kind of like making the first EP, right, it's like it's certain aspects like that Jalen has that he brings to what the podcast is, and I bring certain aspects as well. So like all this come together in one, it's magic. You know what I'm saying? So and that's
essentially how the world is supposed to
work.
Be.
Yeah.
So when you have all these agendas trying to push this way, you kind of get set aside from what is the righteous path.
Yeah.
And so that's when you have all these. You don't have free thinkers anymore. You have folks jumping on bandwagons. Okay, they see, okay, that's wrong, and then they see, okay, another group of people think that's wrong. So I guess that may be I guess that's the right thing to do. So we all think that's wrong. So that's essentially how cancel culture came about.
It is.
So it's like,
and honestly, like
it's
that's
scarcity of free thinkers.
Scarcity of free thinkers. That's a good way of putting it. That might be something we put into the the snippets.
No doubt.
I feel like we should definitely emphasize on is what you brought up earlier.
For sure.
And this is diversity of thought.
Diversity of thought.
So just to kind of express on how I view diversity of thought, we have to emphasize like, yes, we are different. We are individually different, physically, mentally, and just because of our backgrounds.
For sure.
So we have to definitely address those things. But when we have diversity of thought come into play, then we have to think about this is this person, this is their belief, and this is who they are, and this is how we should view people, and this is how we're gonna start respecting other cultures.
For sure.
So I know you got a few things you wanted to kind of talk about with that one. So.
Oh yeah. I know I sent Rod a video earlier about this. Accepting. Okay, so we have all these corporations accepting diversity, but there's no. Why not accept diversity of thought? And so, yeah, it's cool. You have diversity, different races come together, but what is that if you're not accepting the diversity of thought coming from these different parts of the world, or folks coming from wherever they come from? Why not have these? Why not accept? If you can accept how somebody looks, why can't you accept, what they have to offer, their own perspective on things, like, because you never know, like, what you can learn, essentially what you can learn, or what value they can add for you.
Exactly.
And so when you essentially, that's really selling yourself short, and that's why we have this cancel culture. I feel like that's out right now because there is a
mass wave of diversity of thought.
Right. There's like a big block on diversity of thought.
Yeah.
Which is why you have this cancel culture, and folks getting shut out, or because there's no diversity, there's no acceptance for diversity of thought. once we accept folks' perspectives, folks from different backgrounds, whatever, that's when this problem of cancel culture can be set aside.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna cease for real.
For sure.
Like we shouldn't go straight to canceling someone.
right, right,
I think this something like almost not to keep talking about it, but like the righteous path. Like,
yeah,
we shouldn't go straight to canceling someone. We should try to.
none of us are perfect.
Yeah, but none of us are perfect, and we have to continue to learn
Right.
and also emphasize
Right.
learning to other people and know that they not gonna know everything as well.
Exactly. Because how can we grow if we're not, accepting thought or accepting perspective from different people or different cultures. So it's like, what are you really here for? What purpose do you serve if you're just here to think on this one, stay in this little box of whatever you're exposed to, but you're not allowing yourself to reach out or accept this or listen to whatever this person has to say.
In the last EP, I kind of touched on that a little bit. Kind of like with people when they express how they feel about a specific race, how it kind of hits you different when it comes from your race. I don't know if you remember me talking about that, but
Right.
like we have to have an open ear to these people that are different from us. Like just because they look this way, they sound like this, don't mean that what they have isn't valuable. And I want to be able to like actually like see, hear them for who they are.
For sure.
So if you coming in with that diversity of we promote diversity of thought.
For sure.
So if you come in with that mindset like, oh, I can't sit with what they thinking. I can't be like that.
Right.
So you come in like that, you gonna have that blockage already.
Right.
You're not gonna hear them. You're not gonna see them.
And I ain't gonna lie. Black people in particular deal with this amongst each other.
Yeah.
A lot of us we're quick to judge each other, which really holds us back too. If we see somebody, they got this fancy car or girl or whatever, they got these fancy clothes on, we quick to put them in a box. Okay. Then we put on this kind of persona like, okay, I gotta get myself right.
Yeah.
Instead of maybe talk to this person and say like, okay, what you got going on, bro? Like, I see you have yourself together. What is it that you're doing, and how can I get on this level with you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like we don't have to hate on people.
Right.
Like that's
that's essentially getting us nowhere.
Yeah.
Getting in a hole that is only gonna get deeper.
Yeah.
And it's already deep now in our culture, but essentially the way to go about this, of course, is communicating, finding that common ground, but it makes it hard when you have such a culture that's caught up in this materialistic world that glorifies so many things that are only like not filled with abundance, not filled with, they're really just pleasure in the moment.
That was our diversity of thought and like our thoughts on that, and we just want to definitely make that known to other people. It's like this is the next steps to how we want to go about life, how we want people to like perceive other cultures, races, and their other thing like that. So
for sure.
But yeah,
and we do have that question listed. Is there a right way to address something or a person or a culture without getting canceled?
Yeah, that's true.
And speaking on that, I would just say communication. Bro, like this generation, like I said, we're a misconstrued generation. But like Rob was saying on the last EP, it's different. We communicate in different forms. So it's like,
oh, that's true.
So it's like it's difficult for us, but it's not like it doesn't limit us. We can still, some of us can still communicate. We're not all put in this box and just like whatever, we're all on our phones or whatever. Some of us, got our heads together. Some of us can, actually find some common ground amongst each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is the adequate way to connect with others.
Yeah, that's true.
Connect with these different groups of people, talking to them, trying to understand them, comprehending should be the emphasis when you're talking to these different kinds of people who have these different types of thoughts.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like knowing how to communicate and also how to take communication.
For sure.
And I think that's something that we should definitely emphasize, and that would definitely bring that to light. Definitely.
For sure.
Because hey, somebody speaking this way, it's like, okay, all my walls are down. All those things is blocking my senses of like who this person is and what they do.
Right.
Like that's gone. Now I can actually like see what's inside,
Right.
how this person is, who they really are.
Right.
So
and
yeah.
It kills me, bro. It kills me, like, to see it in my own culture, like how we judge. We're so quick to judge each other, and I fall victim to it too. Like, it's only because it's just so. It's so vast and so big in my community. You kind of gotta walk with a like okay.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I think that's also like glorified as well. It's like, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta always be like, you know what I'm saying, on your toes.
Right.
And yeah, that's cool. That's cool to a certain extent when you really you're not opening up and you're not being there for other people. Like you trying to protect yourself. It might be somebody right next to you that's dealing with like fear or anxiety, and you making it worse.
That's all it really is.
So.
It's all it really that is really all it comes down to. Folks operate out of fear. Folks don't know themselves.
That's true.
So they feel like, okay, they gotta put on this persona of, okay, bro, who is you?
Yeah.
Or who is he to think that he's better than me?
Majority of the world deals with fear, like to this day. So
deals with fear and lack self-love.
Everybody
feels like they need somebody. Like you got God. You don't need nobody. God put us all here for a reason, and once we find that time being alone, appreciating who lives with the spirit that lives inside us, within us, then that's when you take that step towards loving yourself. Yeah. That's what it takes, sitting down, praying, meditating, whatever have you, working out, sacrificing your time to work on yourself.
Yeah.
That's when it all comes along, and also it deals with, you gotta have patience too. It takes time, like I was saying earlier. So yeah,
that's true. Gotta have patience. Definitely. Shoot, you got any more topics you want to talk about? Anything you want to address to the people?
That last point, the listening.
Yeah,
before
I got one more too when you get done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, it was one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, but God, at the top of the thing, I listed out that God can always use me.
For sure.
I think that's a really big quote that I tell myself a lot. I got a lot of quotes, if y'all can't tell. But as a big quote, I tell myself, because we have to realize like we have purpose.
For sure.
I think a lot of people, they realize that
I got some.
They get stuck.
Real stuck.
They get stuck. And they don't really know what's next, where to go, and we give up, But I think it's always good to realize like God can always use me. God can always use me, and if you still here, you got purpose.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. And it all like coincides with taking that initiative to want better for yourself, working on yourself. This quote I got from a book, Russell Simmons. It's called Super Rich. It may not be like verbatim, but he was just saying basically like if you're always the smartest guy in a room, then you need to get out of that room and branch out so that you can grow, so that you can fulfill God's purpose for you. Because if you're stationary, not going through the same pattern, repetitive pattern, going out BSing, BSing, wasting time. But if you know, if you have a sense of, and what's crazy to me, like, if you had these people that know that it's a bigger purpose for you out here, and you continue to follow in this cycle of doing the same thing, setting your purpose aside, that's borderline insanity, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's the definition of insanity, actually. But yeah, that's true. That's true,
For
bro.
sure.
Like if you the smart, what you say again? Say it again.
If you're the smartest person in the room all the time, then you need to get out that room.
I got out that
branch
room.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
Cause how you gonna grow?
That's true.
How you gonna seek your purpose?
How you gonna see anything different? Like,
Right.
Especially when you noticing like, bro, these people don't really think like me. Like,
Right.
They don't see the same things I see.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like don't put yourself in that position.
For sure.
So,
For sure. Especially if you know it, if you have that intuition feeling,
yeah,
it's time to go. Something gotta give, something gotta change.
yeah. I think that touches into like that loneliness thing that you was talking about.
For
Like,
sure,
don't be
for
afraid
sure.
to be alone.
Don't be afraid to be alone. To begin with, it is kind of like, okay, dang, like ain't nobody else here but me. But once you find that that connect within yourself, that's when. And like I said, it does take time. I'm gonna keep saying it takes time. But once you set aside yourself a schedule, knocking things out, knocking out your priorities, working out, handling the business, making your money, going it, investing, doing whatever have you. That's.
Hey, don't forget to have fun.
Yeah, don't forget to have fun. Balance too, for sure. Gotta have balance.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this was EP2, guys. And another thing that I did want to tell you guys was like, make sure y'all comment and let us know anything y'all want to see on the podcast.
For sure.
We got a lot more to come.
A lot more to come. Special guest. School's about to start for us pretty soon, so we'll be doing pop-up interviews, stuff like that. Experts, business owners, workers, professionals, whatever have you. So different perspectives coming on, of course.
Different.
So that we can grow and then y'all can grow too. So
yeah,
that's the bottom deal.
Hey, thank y'all for watching, and that's it, y'all.
Like, comment, subscribe.